Welcome back to my channel, artists. Today we'll be making a cup weaving. Step number 1, cut odd numbers. So you're going to take your scissors and cut strips into a plastic cup. I have learned that the red or blue party cups seem to be the best. You want to make sure you're cutting an odd number. So numbers like 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 will make it the easiest for your weaving. If you end up cutting the wrong number, you can tape it back together and weave it, but it's a little more challenging. Step number 2, anchor yarn into a cup. I cut about 10 or so feet of yarn, and then I'm going to anchor the first inch or inch and a half into the cup between two of the slits. Step number 3, weave over and under. So you're going to take your yarn without pulling it out, that anchored section, and you're going to go over and under, or in the cup it might feel more like behind and in front, in that same pattern all the way around. If you have been here in kindergarten or first grade, you might have done paper weaving. There are certainly plenty of videos about paper weaving on my channel. But it's going to be that same process. So this idea of going over, under, alternating. If you cut an odd number, when you get to the end, your next row will look opposite from the row before. That is your goal. If it doesn't look opposite, perhaps you cut the wrong number, just skip over one of the cracks. In fact, it might be easier to put a piece of tape up on the inside to cover up that crack so that you don't forget and make it go the same. So as you look at it, it'll be opposite all the way up. As you weave over, under, and get up the cup, you want to start squishing the rows together. When you do that, the more you do that, the closer they get. The thinner the string, which you'll see later in the video that I use some thinner string, the more that works. As you keep going up, just squish down just a little bit over and under. When you pull tight, you can see I've pulled tight a little bit because I have that one section that keeps popping in. It does end up distorting or changing the shape of the cup a little bit, so try your best not to pull too tight as you go over and under. Step number 4, tie on a new string. When you get to the end of your string, as you can see that I have done, or when you're ready to change colors, you're going to grab a new piece of string and tie a knot. To tie a knot, you make an X and go down and through like you're tying your shoelaces. Make sure to do that 2 times. Some of the string, like you can see mine, never fully is tight in that it can kind of come apart a little bit. So I don't want to cut the ends or my knot will fall off. Instead, I'm going to continue my weaving, the over under, and I'm going to do my best to tuck my knot into the inside of the cup so that I can't see it. You'll notice mine kind of came out a little bit, so I just tucked it a little bit, pulled a little loose to make sure that knot stayed on the inside of the cup. And then I continue my over under. As I continue my over under, I notice that part of my tail is sticking out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and continue over, under with my new color. Because this string is thinner, as I push down, you're actually going to notice that it completely covers up the cup with that over, under pattern just because of how thin and squishy the yarn is. You can see here that I went ahead and fast forwarded to being almost finished with a pattern that I like. I did try to choose different kinds of string and yarn, so I have different textures, soft, fuzzy, silky, etc. When you have finished, again, as close to the top as you can, you're going to do step number 5, tuck or tie the end. You can just tuck the end inside your cup and be done, but if you're a little worried that it could unravel, you could tie a knot. This one's a little bit trickier, especially with as tight as I've done it. I'm going to thread my string underneath one loop and then pull a knot in it just like I did for a shoelace, or again, you can simply tuck it and you are all finished. What will you create?